Happy New Year! Happy New Year. Couldn't decide what hat to wear. I have this one too. This is the extent of our celebrating today is me jumping on Facebook Live to share some end of year wrap up and goal setting strategies, but it is New Year. It is New Year's Eve. And yeah, this is like literally the extent of the celebrating we're going to do in my family. I mean, we'll hang out, watch maybe a movie with the kids. I'm going to make a couple appetizers for me and my husband. I'm going to bake cinnamon rolls so that they're ready tomorrow morning. Yeah, big time, wild and crazy stuff over here. I'm going to wait just a minute. I know it's kind of a weird day, but we planned this quite a while ago, and I wanted to show up and wrap up the year strong together. And the reality is, I personally literally almost forgot to show up. I normally schedule at 9 and didn't. And then I was like, I feel like I have something to do today. I was doing the laundry and, cleaning up around the house. And oh, here's my cat under the desk. I was making sourdough starter because I want to make a sourdough loaf tomorrow or the next day. So yeah, hi, whoever's on here. Thank you for showing up. Let me know who's here. This is the extent of the partying that we're doing in our family. I just figured it's New Year's, so I'd show up and be festive. And I have another hat. I have a hat for you. If you would like, I can put it on you. Oh, you look lovely. Yeah, I'm going crazy here. But welcome. This is New Year's, so I'm going to wear my little party hat. And I've got my cat under the desk in a little basket. I am like, how do we feel? I don't want to sit here and be like, oh my God, 2021, so full of possibility. I just feel like everyone else and am just excited to be kind of leaving this year in the dust. And I am filled with hope just for the fact that we're making progress and, we have a vaccine and we're going to be moving towards going back to a more normal state next year. So, but this year, wasn't what our typical kind of like, let's crush it every day. Let's be awesome. Hi, Latrice. Thank you for being here. Do you like your party hat? It's cute, right? This is from when we used to have New Year's parties. Yeah, but I just feel like, this year was rough, and I know that it might be tempting to not set goals next year and feel like you're in this weird transition phase and that it's not possible to accomplish all the things. Oh, yay! Cynthia is in Barcelona. Did I say that right? I know I'm trying to work the little accent. Thank you for being here and Happy New Year. I'm so glad that you have the opportunity to go out and get dinner to celebrate New Year's. We do not. Stuck at home. This is it. This is the party. You guys are at my New Year's party. Yeah. So we're going to, look at the next year and use the goals to help get us back on track despite everything that's going on. And the other thing I want to keep in mind is just be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's okay to take it easy. It's totally fine. There's a number of ways to do this. I'm just here to start getting you thinking about how to get a feeling of control and accomplishment and progress back. Yeah, Cynthia, thank you for being here from Spain. We actually booked a trip to Spain. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But for fall of next year, we have a cruise for my husband and I are going to do a cruise. And I have been all over Europe, but never to Spain. So I'm sure it's beautiful. And I look forward to the opportunity. Hopefully it happens in the fall. But yeah, I just want you to look at this like, what are you going to focus on? Is it self-care? Is it driving, business goals? Is it both? Whatever you feel that you can commit to and revisit and be gentle with yourself about, it's worth thinking about it and setting it as a goal. So I look at New Year's like new opportunity to build something amazing in your business and your life, just creating the future for yourself that you want. And you don't have to be scared or kind of panicking that this is the new year and we're setting goals. This is just a conversation. And to be really honest, we planned the whole year next year, but we did it more about service and how we're going to serve our community and what our community needs and how we can provide it to them. But I didn't set these goals like financial goals, revenue goals. I didn't do that. For me, it's an impact goal. How many people can we serve? How many people can we support in our various programs? Who needs us and how can we find them? Those are my goals. So my goals are not like by X date, I'm going to have X number of dollars in revenue. It's how do we build on the momentum that we're creating this year, that we created this year, and find more people and serve more of our audience. So that's what my goals kind of look like. And then I have kind of more personal and, family fitness and presence goals for myself with my kids. So, it's not written out. Usually it's like written out so that it's like by this date, I will do X. I never accomplish every single one of those goals, but I make more progress than I would have had I not written it down. So it's always worth doing it as long as you're gentle with yourself and you don't say, well, I blew that. Why did I even try? Well, you tried and you aimed high because you knew you would get further along than you would if farther, Mom, I know you're watching. Is it further or farther? You would further your goals. You would get farther along. Farther's distance. Further is advancing. Anyway, so that's why we do it. But here's how you can kind of plan. I have 6 things that I want to share with you, big ideas, but just the general principles here. Be gentle with yourself. Like I said, don't dwell on it if you don't meet your goals. Goals aren't to be met. They're a target. You're going to shoot for a target so that you can stretch and you can grow and you can aim for something big and make more progress than you would have made if you just set an easy peasy goal and just were like, yeah, check the box. I reached my goal. Yay. We want you to push yourself a little bit, but also be gentle if you don't achieve it. If you do, you're like, wow, look at what I was able to do. But even if you don't get to that actual goal, celebrate it along the way. Celebrate where you've ended up. And we'll talk about what that looks like in terms of celebrating and acknowledging, because that piece of it is really important, is the acknowledgement. You have to do that. Write it down. Little things that you're able to do. It doesn't have to be a massive goal. Like I finally, had a 6-figure business, or I finally brought in my dream client and I'm making, a 6-figure retainer off that one client, or I now have 10 retainer clients in my business. What if you just get 2 and you celebrate those 2 and you feel that feeling of what you did accomplish and you let it sink in and you let that motivate you? So take the time today and write down at least 5 things. You might even go through your calendar. Go through your calendar and look back on the year. Maybe even your social media posts. Like if you shared something cool you did on social, announced it to your friends and family on Facebook, go and look and write that down in one place. Because a lot of us are like, oh, this year sucked. So much happened. My year has been so hard, but so amazing also. Like I've had the best of both worlds. In March, we got hosed. Our retainer business got hosed, and it's been a lot harder to come back from that. Clients are taking longer to secure. So if this is happening in your business, this is happening in mine. We are jumping through so many more hoops. We are taking a lot longer in the kind of sales process, and it's been a lot harder to secure. We used to just get on the phone, have a call. Call was great, send a proposal, start on the first. That was literally my sales process. Now it's like RFP, get on the phone with the CMO, the CEO. We're still making decisions. We need to follow up. We have additional questions. Can you give us more information? And it's like a lot harder. So that happened at the beginning of the year for me, and it's been challenging. But right after COVID hit, we launched a new entire, hi Candace, we launched a new entire platform in our business called the Pitch Lab, and Candace is a member of that. We did that to serve a need from our audience. What did our audience need from us? How could we serve and support them right now to meet them where they are and give them what they needed? And we launched that in 3 weeks. And if I had thought about it and planned it as a goal, I would have said, well, by this date, I'm going to do it. And then I would have built, probably 3 months to build it. No, we were like, we are going to get this thing done because our audience needs it. We'll put it out there. Yeah. Thanks, Candace. I'm trying to be festive. And we did it, and we just launched it, and it was better than I ever could have imagined. People were loving it. We have 115 people that have enrolled in it, which just shows me that it was needed. And we got it out as fast as possible, and I'm really proud of that accomplishment. So that's going on my list. I'm going to write that down. And I want to remember that that was something I accomplished this year. So take a look forward in your year and create an action plan. So maybe you look at what the goals are. You have to break them down into manageable next steps. So take time to really focus on this. If you do set a few goals, like break them down. What does it take? Because you're not going to just get to the finish line. You have to do the necessary steps, simple, basic things. But each one of those steps you take is a win. It's a win in my book. Celebrate it. Even if it's like, I'm going to launch a new website. Great. What is it going to take? You got to reach out to a designer. You have to find a designer that you like, or build it yourself. We actually have several women in our programs that are web developers. If you want to build it yourself, creating a template for it or creating mock-ups, like every single step of the way. It's not just the launch, but what steps have to happen, and then acknowledge those wins. And also, when you break out these steps, you have to add it to your calendar. And this goes with personal goals too. That's how I am able to do my best with fitness and, date nights or time with the kids, like baking something with my kids. I have to put it in the calendar, because otherwise it's an idea. It's a concept. It's not an actual appointment and commitment that I've made. So that's really important, is calendar things. I kind of live and die by my calendar. I do use a handwritten, more like a things to do daily, but then I have my digital because it pops up with reminders. I need my reminders. So schedule it, schedule out things. When are you going to call that web developer? When are you going to call that graphic designer? Put it on your calendar. Otherwise, it's just this amorphous thing that never has a deadline, and it'll never get done. And then when you do those things, try to acknowledge the wins and then do the next thing. We actually planned a full day planning session for 2021 with my team, and kind of sat with the calendar and thought about what our goals were for the year. Like I told you at the top of this call, it's an impact goal. It's reaching as many people we can support as possible. It's serving our community in the way that they, what's the journey, the success path that we're going to take our audience, all of you guys on, and how can we give that and deliver it in a more effective way. Those were my goals. So we looked at the year and said, how are we going to do all of these things so that we can serve our audience in the way that they need us to serve them? And we built the calendar around that. But my point is, it was a full day. Hi, Nicole. Oh my gosh, Nicole, I haven't seen you in so long. Happy New Year. Nicole's in our programs too. It's a full day that we did. It ended up being more like a half a day. But last year I got a giant, I'm looking over where it was. I got a giant wall calendar, Sharpie with the entire quarterly calendar. We wrote down every launch. We wrote down every promotion. We wrote everything down. And I was like, this is a thing of beauty. Look at this thing. My whole year is set. This is awesome. Thank you. But then I had this thing staring in my face for a year that I literally put X's through every single thing and wrote COVID, COVID, COVID. So things didn't go according to plan, and that's okay. That happened to everybody, and we don't beat ourselves up over it. So this year I didn't do an entire calendar built out because there's so much that's uncertain. But what we did do is we set impact goals and didn't schedule them in by day or month. We just sort of said, these things are going to happen. I actually did schedule a new website launch. We're launching our Profitable PR Pros website as a full hub database resource. And the aim is for my birthday, which is March 8th. So that I was like, oh, that could be fun. You know, it's like if it happens, great. If not, no problem. Right. So that's, you know, what could really be helpful to you is either scheduling time, taking the time to do it, with you or your team or just by yourself, but actually taking the time to figure that out, what you want your year to look like. And while you're doing it, think about some limiting beliefs that may have been holding you back in this year. Some to be possibly aware of, top of your mind, is maybe limiting beliefs around money. And what I'm seeing most in our programs with women running agencies with the Agency Accelerator is this comes up a lot in their pricing. So they have limiting beliefs around money, that it's hard to make that certain retainers sound really high. That just sounds high, you know, or they can't afford that, or that seems really high, I'm going to lose the work. Those are your limiting beliefs, and you're putting them on your clients, you're putting them on your opportunities, and it's 100% holding you back. So be aware of that and try to address it. We actually tackle that limiting belief, that limiting mindset. And another one is imposter syndrome. We cover all of that in the program. It's actually the very first thing in the Agency Accelerator. We do goal setting and we do mindset and clarity. And I really feel like that's some of the most important work that I ever did as an agency owner, is like figuring out where my own beliefs were holding me back on my potential for growth. So think about that and look at maybe what things held you back this year. A big one is COVID and feeling like there's no opportunity. I did say we have taken longer to secure clients. It's a lot more hoops to jump through, but there is so much work out there. We are getting tons of new business inquiries. Not all of them are the right fit, but it just shows that there are opportunities out there. So you may have this belief like COVID is just, you know, there's no opportunity, or people don't have money to spend because of COVID, and that's going to impact you and your business. That's a limiting belief. That is not true whatsoever. There was also this belief around launches during COVID and saying that anybody that was launching a product, a program, putting out a promotion, it was insensitive. And it made people feel like they were being greedy, insensitive, opportunistic. And that's one way to look at it that'll keep you stuck. I looked at launching our pitch lab, which came out about a month after, you know, the shutdown from COVID. And it felt a little weird. I was like, you know, I'm putting this thing out there and it's really good and I'm going to make it super affordable, so it's a no-brainer, but I'm still making an offer and asking for a sale. But I knew that it was coming from a place of service and support and giving my audience what they told us they needed and supporting them during a really challenging time so they could take control back and train themselves to be the best service providers and feel confident when they were pitching clients. Right? And I know that when people invest, they also are more invested, like mentally. When you invest money, you're more mentally invested in your success. So that was our mindset, was not a limiting belief like, you know, nobody's going to buy anything during COVID. It was, this is needed. We are serving our audience. And hi, buddy. And we had our best, you know, launch of a program ever from that. And it didn't feel yucky at all. So think about your limiting beliefs around what opportunities there are for you during COVID, because you may feel like stagnant and there's no growth opportunity, but that's a limiting belief that is not serving you. And then also think about what you want your life to look like and visualize the future. This to me is the biggest one, because when I made this realization, Candace, I love you, Candace, love the Pitch Lab and the Agency Accelerator. Both are so valuable to my mindset and my business. That makes me so happy. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so happy to have Candace in the program. She's awesome. And the community is beyond, like, bonkers, so good. And, it just keeps getting better. And it's, women like Candace and Nicole and all of you here that make me want to just show up even when it's hard and even when I'm going through stuff personally and all of that, just to create things that we think are going to serve our audience better. But this biggest realization that I made in my life, it was the reason I transitioned out of law, left my job as an attorney 16, almost 17 years ago now. And no, 16 years ago, and started my own PR firm. It's that I realized life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me, and I'm in the driver's seat. And I'm in charge of the direction my life goes in. And I no longer wanted to live in a reactive place where things were just happening to me and I was just living that life reacting to them. So I don't want to be reactive. And I want you to think about where you want to go and what you want to do that will guide your life in a certain direction. So now is a really good time to think about that. And the big kind of underlying question is thinking about your why. And we did a great live with Cara Duffy 2 weeks ago. It's on this page. If you search Cara Duffy on this page, you will find it. We did this great live and talked all about finding your why. And it was really, really good. And that underlying reason, that's your fuel, that'll keep you excited and it'll keep you motivated. It'll fuel your energy. So think about your why and your stepping stones in your career, your life, what you want it to look like. Don't, make this realization, or at least let it start to settle in, that you're in charge, you're in the driver's seat. Things happen and we have to handle them and respond to them, but that doesn't take away your power and your control of guiding the direction of your life, right? You're in charge. So think about those things that are gonna give you energy, energize you. The other thing too is I've realized that the more hours of reactivity in my day where I'm just handling inbound calls, emails, requests from other people, all of those fire drills, those things where you feel like your hair's on fire and you have to put them out, the more reactivity that I have each day, the more that I'm unhappy. So if you have no purpose, you will feel exhausted, you will feel spent. When you go back to that why or have that purpose, that energizes you. So carve out the day intentionally, or you'll lose your sense of purpose. And it doesn't have to be working towards this huge, amazing goal and, shattering, boundaries every day. It's a small thing. What is your intention for the day? It could be simple, my intention for today is to feel present. I want to feel present where I am. I want my attention to be where I physically am. That's a great intention for the day, and that will energize you, and it'll remind you to, recenter yourself when you feel like you're, when you feel like you're drifting. My bestie is texting me right now. So everything you do can be purposeful, and if you set that intention, it doesn't have to be a singular purpose for your life every single day, I'm going to work towards this every day. It could just be a simple purpose for the day. Yesterday I felt really low energy. Today I'm going to feel high energy, and feeling high energy is a choice. Hi buddy. Hi. Spending all day picking up the phone or responding to email, that's reactive. That's you giving other people control of your time and energy by letting them come into your inbox when they want to take your attention. And that is not the highest, best use of your time or your day. So you can ask yourself every day, what is the highest, best use of my time right now? Think about those things just on a daily basis. Is this serving me? The other thing you can do is get your partner bought into how you want to show up. You can, and what the path is that you want to make for yourself. You can see that there's a path ahead of you, and your partner can kind of help guide you. Maybe you guys are doing regular goal reviews. Maybe you're checking in on how you're feeling every day. And if you don't have a partner or somebody in your life you can turn to support you. For that, we actually have accountability partners in our Agency Accelerator Plus, where we just want people to hold each other accountable, or just to check in and make sure that they're, committing to something and actually, doing it. And sometimes it's having that accountability person that will say, did you do that? Or like you said you were going to do that. Oh yeah, well, I don't want to let them down. You certainly don't want to let yourself down. That's self-integrity, and you have to remind yourself to live in self-integrity, make promises to yourself and follow through with them. But having somebody, like even a workout accountability partner, that is going to check on you. Did you do that? Or like, let's both, go for a walk for half an hour, not together, but just check in. Did you do it? How was it? How do you feel? That can help you stay on track. So you can also use that person or that accountability to plan for regular goal reviews. Like, how's it going? Are you on track? Where did you fall short? What do you need? So to recap, and I said I would share 6 big ideas to help win the year. Number 1, your life is your own. Reclaim your life's agenda from other people's expectations. Maybe you're serving someone who isn't grateful for you, or you're working in a job you don't love, or you're supporting a client that sucks the life out of you. You can take back command, and you can say to yourself, I'm going to take back command of my life. I am no longer handing over control to everyone else, to someone else. I've often talked about a client I had that I would get a text message any time of day, late on a Friday night, on a weekend, and I would just jump and react. And that was sucking the life out of me. And I decided one day, no more. This person does not control my life. I have a business outside of this person. And if this client leaves, we will be fine. And I don't have to respond or make myself so available. And that was incredibly freeing and honestly life-changing. So I made that decision to reclaim my life's agenda and reclaim myself from other people's expectations. So that's number 1. Number 2, let's commit to doing this together. We're going to judge less. Okay? It's a gut reaction when you see something or see someone, and, especially in political times, everybody's like very polarized politically, to judge. You make a snap judgment. Candace is saying, exactly. Everyone else's emergencies and expectations are not mine. Shutting down these reactive moments are priority this year. Yeah. And I hope that you're spending this time right now, this holiday break, to really, check into yourself and not kind of feel like, I know a lot of us are like, well, we're on retainer and they're going to pay me for December, so I have to be responsive and be present all of December. No, take time and just say, it's a holiday. We're closed for the week, Christmas to New Year. We'll see you next Monday or whatever, at the end of next week. That's totally fine, and don't feel guilty about it. We've always done that, and no one's ever said, wait a minute, I paid you for the whole month. What's going on? So judging, we're going to judge less. This is one of the keys to this emotional freedom, is judging other people less. And what I have done to help me do this is I see other people and what they're accomplishing or what they're doing or what they're up to as showing me what's possible for me. So I'll see something, and instead of feeling envious or jealous, I'm like, that's awesome. Like, if they can do that, I can do it too. Or like, good for them. Look at how hard they worked. When you focus on something, you can accomplish it, and I can accomplish it too. So that's instead of feeling jealousy, or instead of feeling like negative energy and weighed down emotionally by somebody else, I'll just say, you know what? My feeling about that shows me what I don't want for myself. So it's not about them, it's about me. It's like, what is this showing me about what I want or what I do not want for myself? Good. Are we going to commit to that together? Judging less and feeling better. Yeah. I think that that's a big part of it. The other thing, this is a big one for me, is prioritizing your energy. This is number 3. How do you feel and how do you show up? For me, I'm always tired. I'm always saying to myself, God, I'm so tired. Yesterday, I was so tired. so tired all day long. And then my husband was like, we're going for a walk. And we live up in the hills, and like a walk is a commitment. It's not just like around the block, super easy. It's like up a hill. And my neighborhood is hilly. So a walk is like a whole thing. And I was like, God, I'm so tired. But I just shifted that. And I said to myself, I have energy to spend time with my family. I'm going to go on a walk with my kids. They're playing Pokemon Go on our phones. They're so happy to go for a walk. I'm going to capitalize on this. So instead, it's like, how do you feel? How do you show up? If you're saying to yourself, like I do a lot of the time, I'm always tired. I'm so tired. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel that way. But instead, this year, I'm going to say to myself and remind myself, I'm going to just check into the fact that I want this year to be the most extraordinary year of health that I'll ever have. So what does that look like for me? That means maybe I'm drinking more water. So it's not like I'm going to commit to drinking X gallons of water a week, or I don't know, have X ounces a day. No, for me, it's going to be the year that I experience the most extraordinary health that I've ever had. So if I'm riding the Peloton once a week, maybe I go two times a week. And that's better than before. Or going on a walk with my husband in the middle of the day instead of feeling guilty about it. That's committing to extraordinary health. And always saying that I have energy for my health, my family, and how I want to show up. So I'm not going to show up tired anymore. I'm going to like really be aware of what I'm telling myself and shift it into a different mindset and give myself that energy. Number 4, this is be the role model. So adopt a role model mindset. Even if you are a role model to one single person, even if you're a role model to your dog, even if you're a role model to your niece or nephew, adopt a role model mindset and kind of know what your values are and live within your values. So when you're doing something, would you be doing that thing if you are the role model? So if someone was watching you, or you felt like you were the role model to a certain person or a certain group of people, and you were doing something that was kind of outside of those values, or they would say, well, my role model wouldn't do that. This negative self-talk. Would a role model kind of beat themselves up? No, they would, come with energy. They would, be present. They would, one of my things for being a role model is trying not to swear. Sometimes I do. And then I'm like, well, I know my mom hates it. So would a role model come on live and swear? Maybe, but the kind of role model that I want to be, typically, no. So what are the values that I see having as a role model? Knowing my children are watching me. To me, this be the role model is being present for my children and completing what I say I will do with self-integrity. So committing to myself and committing to the commitments of other people. That is how I will serve as a role model for my children. It's always doing what I say I'm going to do. I always, always, always do. So that also means not saying something that I don't have any intention of following through with. So if I'm doing something like low energy, laying in bed and feeling like, blah, or scrolling on my phone is a big one. Is that the role model that I want to be for my children, where they look over and see that mom and dad are always on devices? No, because then it's like when we tell them, get off your device, they're like, you're a hypocrite. And they don't know that word, but they would be like, you're on your device. Yeah, that's not a good role model. So when we're with them, it's putting the phone in another room, putting it in a drawer, not scrolling mindlessly, getting on the ground, looking into their eyes. That is being a role model to my children. It's being present to them. And I try to come here and be a role model to all of you. One of the commitments that I make is, coaching calls and doing these lives every week. And I show up. I almost forgot today, and I threw on a party hat and we showed up. Because that's a commitment that I make. And if any of you are looking from the outside looking in and saying like, Jen could be a role model to me, well, she didn't show up. She flaked. Like, that's flaky. She doesn't follow through. She's not living from integrity. that is not role model behavior. So number 4 is be the role model and know your values and live with them. Number 5, track your goals and integrate your wins. So you can track your weekly, monthly, quarterly goals. And when I say integrate your wins, we talked about this before, but this is one of my 6 for an awesome 2021. When you do something good, when you accomplish something, when you've done something that feels like progress, momentum, overcoming a hurdle, getting unstuck, anything, sit there at the end of the day and feel that feeling, like pull it into yourself, pull it into your heart and acknowledge it. And what this helps you do is strengthen your identity. You will literally feel your wins, and this energizes you. And for me, that goes towards number 3, prioritizing energy, showing up energized, energizing myself by integrating my wins. And if you don't do that, if you just let that go by and it just is like another item on your checklist that you checked off, you start to feel like it's not enough. You start to feel like, if you have an item on your checklist, like call the doctor and make an appointment for, or call the dentist to make the kid's appointment. And then also on your checklist is, send a proposal to this new client and, hopefully land the client. Both of those line items are just a check. You did it, right? So yeah, I sent that proposal, check. I called the dentist, check. In your mind, it's the same weight. It's the same level of accomplishment. You're not internalizing that win that you did by creating this proposal and putting it out there and attracting your dream client. Celebrate those wins, bring them into your heart. Say to yourself, like, I did that and I crushed it and this is awesome. And I always think they're crazy to not choose us. Like, we are the best. There's nobody better than us. And if they don't choose us, it was meant to be and it's their loss. And half the time they come back around anyway, seriously. But integrate that, achieve it, and then integrate it into yourself, and you will feel fulfilled, and you will start to not feel that feeling of like it's not enough, because you are actually celebrating these small wins. So that's number 5, is track your goals and integrate your wins. And number 6 is work towards a level of mastery for yourself that will give you like a greater sense of fulfillment, of joy, of connection. So what are you doing in your life? Is it being an excellent parent, a leader in your community, a wife, a partner, a spouse? When you are serving those roles, how can you kind of commit to mastery? Like showing up in the way that your partner also needs you, or reminding yourself, that this is somebody that you have to constantly work to make a connection with. So, stopping in the middle of the day to send a little love text and, being a present wife, looking into your partner's eyes when they're communicating, when you're having dinner, not scrolling on your phone. If you are committing to mastery of being the best partner possible, does that partner listen half-assed and scroll through their phone, or are they looking? And I'll remind my husband all the time, like, hey, I just cooked this dinner. Let's have a conversation. Let's connect with each other. And to me, that's constantly reminding us that we are trying to master being the best partners to each other that we can be. Or when it comes to my children, it's like, how can I master being the mom that they need me to be? I will, I'm not always great at this, honestly. Like, they are on their computers a lot, and getting them off their computers is really hard. So I have to have like an activity. It has to be like really appealing, like amazing. So, I'll get them excited for something we're going to do and research a recipe. Like, we're going to make cinnamon rolls today so that we can bake them tomorrow for New Year's Day, and let them roll it up and not get upset that there's cinnamon sugar all over the kitchen. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, they're going to get messy and it'll get cleaned up and they're going to have a great time. And, that's the level of mastery of being a mom. I want to check into them and like look into their eyes and have quality time. It's not quantity. It's not quantity time that's not great. It's quality time that might be limited because we're all busy doing our own stuff, but the time that we're spending together, I'm actually present and checked in. So that's me reminding myself I want to be an awesome mom. My son has a lot of stuff that he needs help with, and we have a lot of professionals that help us, and therapists and doctors that we need. And for me, that is finding the team, assembling the team, committing to the level of support that he needs, and not feeling bad that it's expensive or time consuming. It's like, this is what we need to be doing as parents. And if I'm going to master my role as a mom for this child, this is what he needs. And so that gives me a greater sense of fulfillment, of joy, of connection, to my family, to my clients, to my team. So there's other things too that I want to master. And, what skill set do you have to learn to train or work towards mastery of something this year? What is that? Like right now, it just occurred to me, I'm working on mastering sourdough loaves. Like I got my new oven and I'm baking up a storm, and I got my sourdough starter, and I'm like working towards, I'm friggin' making sourdough. Like, who knew? But it's fun to kind of see, and the family devours it in 30 minutes or less. It's gone. And I'm like, okay, this one was like great on the crust, and it had the right bubbles inside, but it wasn't quite sour enough. Like, how do I work on making it more sour? How do I make it more fluffy? How do I get the outside to have like a cool pattern? So I'm working on mastery. I have sourdough going right now, and it's just fun. And my family's like into it, and they're supporting it. And I didn't even realize I was working towards sourdough mastery, but it's really, really fun. And the fact that my whole family is like, we have the sourdough starter, you have to feed it. We call it a pet. It's like our other pet, gotta feed the pet. So it's just kind of fun to get them all behind it. But I'm enjoying this kind of level of like, it's gonna be bad, I'm gonna mess it up. And that's okay, because I'm working towards doing this thing that we all enjoy and doing it really well, and having it be an activity that our whole family is enjoying in some way. That is giving me a greater sense of fulfillment and joy and connection. And so I'm committed to learning, strategies, watching videos to just get the most out of that one little thing that I'm doing, making sourdough. It's simple, but it's actually, now that I'm like sitting here thinking about it, it's brought me a lot of joy and fulfillment, and my family too. They're always asking me, when's the next sourdough loaf? When are you making it? So those are my 6 things for big ideas for 2021. It's not necessarily setting these huge goals, but reclaiming your life's agenda from other people's expectations, judging less to feel better, and realizing that other people will show you what you do or don't want in your life and what is possible for you. That's what that feeling is. It's not judgment, it's inspiration. Try to reframe it. Number 3, prioritize energy. Tell yourself, this is the year that will be the most extraordinary year of health I will ever have. Be the role model. Know those values, live with them, adopt a role model mindset, even if it's as simple as being, like I've heard this little meme, be the kind of person that your dog thinks you are, right? You're like just a hero and perfect in your dog's eyes. How can you live into that and be a role model for your children? They see us too as like so awesome and amazing, but we want to really be as awesome and amazing as they deserve. So check into that. And live with self-integrity, commit to something, and do what you say you're going to do. Track your goals and integrate your wins. So energize yourself by actually acknowledging the wins. Let them kind of sink in and feel a feeling of accomplishment. Otherwise, you are going to never feel like it's enough, because you are never experiencing that feeling of accomplishment. And 6, commit to mastery. What is going to make you an excellent parent, a leader, master of your industry? That's why we offer all these programs on PR and running an agency, to help you master what you're doing in your business, so that you can be the best service provider, retain your clients, grow your retainers, and create like a business that serves your life financially, all of it. So commit to mastery and figure out the skills that you have to learn. What do you have to train on? What are you going to master this year? And that's it, simple. I know that's a lot, but it's not like first write this down, then break it out. all that, you can get all that stuff everywhere. This is more about elevating your feeling of being a high performing person who is living intentionally and giving yourself in a meaningful way. Like when I am the most present and checked in wife to my husband, that is not me like giving something up of myself to serve his needs. That's furthering my goal of mastering my relationship. It's always a work in progress, but that's important to me. So that is furthering my goal, reminding myself to tell my husband that I love him, and in the middle of the day, unexpectedly, or to send like a fun, like a little sexy text or something, just to, keep the spark, right? So, and speaking of, he's home. Hi, I'm almost done with my life. Yeah, so I'll go check in, how was tennis? How was it? What's it like? How was your day? How are you feeling? How's your ankle? Like remembering what he's dealing with, that furthers my goal of mastering my relationship. Like I said, it's not always perfect. It's always a work in progress, but that's not you giving yourself to somebody and at the expense of your own identity and goals. That is you furthering your commitment to mastery. So that's what I just wanted to wrap up the year on. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is like just really awesome stuff for me. And when I go through and I plan these lives, for me, it reminds me of the things that are important to me and what do I want to convey and accomplish and all of that. Well said, Jen. Thanks, Latrice. Thanks for sharing your expertise. She says, thank you for being here. You were here the whole time. You're a champ. Latrice, Happy New Year. Thank you for being here. Guys, I'm wishing you all the best for a healthy, safe, happy, for us, super chill New Year. We're going to just probably watch a movie, make popcorn. I have like a little appetizer tray I'm making, getting my sourdough loaf ready and getting my cinnamon rolls ready. But yeah, that's what I have for you. And I just want to wish you all the best. And I'm honored that you're here. And I look forward to supporting you in 2021. And by me serving you as fully as I possibly can, you are helping me accomplish my goals. So again, thank you for being here. Happy New Year. Mwah. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you next year. Bye.